Hello everyone, this is the 5th Ethical Revelation Fellowship. I'm Reverend Dr. Roger Paul, and tonight is October 15th, 2014, and tonight we're going to study Paper 31, the Core of Finality, and that begins on page 345. And if you have a new book, it's Paper 31, first paragraph. And this is the last paper in the first part of the book, in the series of the first part of the book. So this will be the last one we're doing this year. We're going to pick it up in January again, right? Because I'm going on sabbatical. So, all right, here we go. Paper 31, the Core of Finality. Millie, would you like to start?
I'll do that. Paper 31, the Core of Finality. The core of mortal finalators represents the present known destination of the ascending adjustifused mortals of time. But there are other groups who are also assigned to this core. The primary finalator core is composed of the following: 1. Havona natives. 2. Gravity messengers. 3. Glorified mortals. 4. Adopted seraphim. 5. Glorified material sons. And 6. Glorified midway creatures.
Okay, and this is all the group of beings that progress to the point where they reach God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit, and are embraced by God the Father and join the core of finality. And we're going to talk about each one of these tonight.
These 6 groups of glorified beings compose this unique body of eternal destiny. We think we know their future work, but we are not certain. While the core of the mortal finality is mobilizing on paradise, and while they now so extensively minister to the universes of space and administer the worlds settled in light and life, their future destination must be the now organizing universes of outer space. At least that is a conjecture of Urantia.
Okay, so all the mortal core of finale, most of them are, or a big part of them, are working on those planets that have settled in life, right? Teaching and helping those individuals. But they believe the future destiny of all mortals in the finality is the outer space levels, and it's kind of a mystery what that is, what's going on out there. The core is organized in accordance with the working association of the worlds of space, and in keeping with the associative experience acquired throughout the long and eventful ascendant career. All the ascendant creatures admitted to this core are received in equality, but this exalted equality in no way abrogates individuality or destroys personal identity. We can immediately discern in communicating with a finalator whether he is an ascendant mortal, Havona native, adopted seraphim, midway creature, or material son. Okay? Notice here it says that all of these creatures in this core are received in equality. And in other words, it does not matter where you start, whether you're a mortal, a Havona native, or a seraphim, midway creature, or material son, but that they consider you equal with all these beings once you're admitted to the core of finality. So your background does not discount you in any way. Actually, it adds to you if you're a mortal. Okay, Millie.
During the present universe age, the finalators return to serve in the universes of time. They are assigned to labor successively in the different super-universes and never in their native super-universes until after they have served in all the other 6 super-creations. Thus, they may acquire the 7-fold concept of the Supreme Being.
So once you become a finalator, you don't go back to your original universe until you've had the opportunity to serve in all 6 of the other super universes. And that way you get experience, right? And you get experience in other things the Supreme Being wants you to learn, right? Okay.
One or more companies of the mortal finalitors are constantly in service on Urantia. There is no domain of universe service to which they are not assigned. They function universally and with alternating and equal periods of assigned duty and free service.
Notice here, we are not a planet that's even close to being settled in light and life, right? But they still serve on this planet. I wanted to point that out, even though we have not reached light and life. Okay, we have no idea as the nature of the future organization of this extraordinary group. But the Finalitors are now wholly a self-governing body. They choose their own permanent periodic assignment leaders and directors. No outside influence can ever be brought to bear upon their policies, and their oath of allegiance is only to the Paradise Trinity. So they govern themselves.
The Finalitors maintain their own headquarters on Paradise, in the super universes, in the local universes, and on all divisional capitals. They are a separate order of evolutionary creation. We do not directly manage them or control them, and yet they are absolutely loyal and always cooperative with all of our plans. They are indeed the accumulating tried and true souls of time and space, the eventuary evolutionary salt of the universe, and they are forever proof against evil and secure against sin.
Why is that? Because they've all already been tested, haven't they, in one way or another. The other thing is they are not involved with the other things going on in the universe. Their work is specific for themselves, you know. So it's kind of interesting. All right.
1. The Havana natives. Many of the Havana natives who serve as teachers in the pilgrim training schools of the central universe become greatly attached to the ascending mortals and still more intrigued with the future work and destiny of the core of mortal Finalitors. On Paradise there is maintained, at the administrative headquarters of the core, a registry for Havana volunteers presided over by the Associate of Gran Fonda. Today, you will find millions upon millions of Havana natives upon this waiting list. These perfect beings of direct and divine creation are of great assistance to the mortal core of Finality, and they will undoubtedly be of even greater service in the far distant future. They provide the viewpoint of one born in perfection and divine repleteness. The Finalitors thus embrace both phases of experiential existence, perfect and perfected.
Okay, so we remember who Gran Fonda was, right? He was the very first mortal to become a Finalitor, right? Okay, to go all the way to Paradise and do what we will be doing in the future. Okay, it mentions here that the Havana natives are born in perfection and divine repleteness. And remember, Havana natives are already born perfect, right? But they can earn their way to become Finalitors, and then they embrace both the experiential part and the perfected part. Okay? By the experiential part, they gain from what? They gain from the mortals they train, right? Okay. All right. Havana natives must achieve certain experiential developments in liaison with evolutionary beings, which will create reception capacity for the bestowal of a fragment of the spirit of the universal Father. What is that? Thought adjuster, right? The mortal Finalitor core has as permanent members only such beings as have been fused with the spirit of the first source and center, or who, like the gravity messengers, innately embody this spirit of God the Father. Now the gravity messengers do not need a Father fragment because they already embody God the Father, right? But the others need this thought adjuster in order to fuse with it. Now keep in mind, these are perfect beings, okay? But so they went through all this perfection, all this experience without a Father fragment. But in order to become a Finalitor, they have to fuse with a fragment of the Father. Okay?
They didn't actually need to fuse before because they were perfect.
No, because they were perfect, right?
Yeah.
But by fusing with a fragment of their Father, it gives their personality the Father fragment personality, and they become one with the Father. And that's the only way, by becoming one with the Father, that they can, what? Be embraced by the Father to become part of the core of finality. All right. Millie.
The inhabitants of the central universe are received into the core of the ratio of 1 in 1,000, a finaliter company. The core is organized for temporary service in companies of 1,000, the ascendant creatures numbering 997 to 1 Havona native and 1 gravity messenger. Finaliters are thus mobilized in companies, but the finality oath is administered individually. It is an oath of sweeping implications and eternal import. The Havona natives take the same oath and become forever attached to the core.
So there's 997 mortals, right, and a group of 1,000. Then they have one Havona native, which makes what? 998, right? And then there's one gravity messenger, right? That makes 999. That leaves one, right?
That's evangelical, whatever, evangelical. Well, it comes up later.
Well,
It's
well,
one of them
right.
in every core.
That's right. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. Who's up? Me? The Havona recruits followed the company of their assignment. Wherever the group goes, they go. And you should see their enthusiasm in the new work of the finaliters. Possibly of attaining the core of finality is one of the superb thrills of Havona. And possibly of becoming a finaliter is one of the supreme adventures of these perfect races. So they all want to do this, okay? All right, Millie.
The Havona natives are also received in the same ratio into the core of conjoint trinitized finaliters on Vicegerrington and into the core of transcendental finaliters on Paradise. The Havona citizens regard these three destinies as constituting the supreme goals of their supernal careers, together with their possible admission to the core of Havona finaliters.
Okay, so there's three cores they can move into here, right? The core of conjoint trinitized finaliters, the core of transcendental finaliters, and the core of Havona finaliters. Okay?
Can they be all three?
They can't be all three. They have to choose between one of the three. Right?
2. Gravity messengers. Wherever and whenever gravity messengers are functioning, the finaliters are in command. All gravity messengers are under the exclusive jurisdiction of Grand Fonda, and they are assigned only to the primary core of the finality. They are invaluable to the finaliters even now, and they will be all serviceable in the eternal future. No other group of intelligent creatures possesses such a personalized messenger core able to transcend time and space. Similar types of messenger recorders attached to other finality cores are not personalized. They are
Absonitized. Yeah.
Absonitized.
Right. Okay. Being like the Havonas that are
They're absent being.
absent being, right? Okay. The gravity messengers, and what function do they have? They can transport messages really fast. Okay, so that's why there's one attached to each core, so they can be in constant communication, right? All gravity messengers hail from Divinington, and they are modified and personalized adjusters. You get that? Gravity messengers are modified and personalized adjusters. They're a father fragment, right? Okay, and then they're personalized. But no one of our universe group will undertake to explain the nature of one of these messengers. We know they are highly personal beings, divine, intelligent, and touchingly understanding, but we do not comprehend their timeless technique of traversing space. Y'all catch that? Timeless technique? They can be there instantaneously. They seem to be competent to utilize any and all energies, circuits, and even gravity. Finaliters of the mortal core cannot defy time and space, but they have associated with them and subject to their command all but infinite spirit personalities who can. we presume to call gravity messengers personalities, but in reality they are super spirit beings, unlimited and boundless personalities. They are an entirely different order of personality as compared to solitary messengers. They're not the same as solitary messengers, right? These are gravity messengers. They come from the Father, right? All right, solitary messengers, what comes from the infinite spirit, right? All right.
Gravity messengers may be attached to a finaliter company in unlimited numbers, but only one messenger, the chief of his fellows, is mustered into the mortal core of finality. This chief, however, has assigned to him a permanent staff of 999 fellow messengers, and as occasion may require, he may call upon the reserves of the order for assistance in unlimited numbers.
So they can call as many as they need, right?
Gravity messengers and glorified mortal finaliters achieve a touching and profound affection for one another. They have much in common. One is a direct personalization of a fragment of the universal Father. The other, a creature personality existent in the surviving immortal soul fused with a fragment of the same universal Father, the spirit thought adjuster.
Okay. Do I need to elaborate on that? Probably not, right? Okay, and this is a picture of them, and they come from Urantia, right? All right. Glorified mortals. Ascending adjuster fused mortals compose the bulk of the primary core of finality. Together with the adopted and glorified seraphim, they usually constitute 990 in each finaliter company. So there's 990 mortals in a company of 1,000. So that leaves, what, 6 between 990 and 997, we just talked about earlier. The proportion of mortals and angels to any one group varies, through the mortals far outnumber seraphim. The Havona natives, glorified material sons, glorified midway creatures, the gravity messengers, and the unknown and missing member make up 1% of the core. Each company of 1,000 finaliters has places for just 10 of these non-mortal and non-seraphic personalities. So every 990 has 10 finaliters that are not of mortal ascent, right? All right, and this is a picture of the mortal core of finality, and the others relating to that. Y'all look at that later. All right, this is another picture of the virgins, adjusters, and gravity messengers. Y'all can look at that later too. All right, Millie.
We of Uversa do not know the finality destiny of the ascendant mortals of time. At present, they reside on paradise and temporarily serve in the core of light and life. But such a tremendous course of ascendant training and such lengthy universe discipline must be designed to qualify them for even greater test of trust and more sublime services of responsibility.
And this is one of the things that really aggravated Lucifer, wasn't it? That the mortal core was trained so much, and then they came back out into the super universes to serve. You know, and he didn't understand why so much time was spent on him. You know, it was a jealousy factor. You know. All right. Here.
Notwithstanding that these ascendant mortals have attained paradise, have been mustered into the core of finality, and have been sent back in large numbers to participate in the conduct of local universes, and to assist in the administration of super-universe affairs, in the face of even this apparent destiny, there remains a significant fact that there are of record as only six-stage spirits. There undoubtedly remains one more step in the career of the mortal core of the finality. We do not know the nature of that step, but we have taken cognizance of, and here call attention to, 3 facts.
There we go.
Hey, sorry guys.
That's all right. Millie, do you still have my picture? Millie?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
And I have your picture.
Okay, we're
And
good.
I have Rodney
Rodney's-
too.
Okay, all right. I lost my train of
I
thought.
just finished your turn.
Okay,
Number
yeah,
one.
yeah, but there was something I wanted to say.
They don't know the nature.
You're not new
Oh,
then.
yeah, I know what it was. They talk about here that the mortal core is only 6-stage spirits, okay? The conjecture is this, that when the Supreme comes into full fruition, when all the 7 super universes have settled in light and life, okay? At that point, they conjecture that all mortals in the core of finality will shift to 7th stage spirits at that point. And at that point, they will be ready to go out into the outer space levels. Okay, that's why we only reach 6-stage spirits, and as 6th-stage spirits, we go into the core of finality. That they believe the 7th stage will be when the Supreme comes into full existence, full fruition, and then we'll step out into the outer space levels. That's the conjecture. Anyway. Okay. All right. We know from the records that mortals are spirits of the first order during their sojourn on the minor sectors, and they advance to the second order when translated to the major sectors, and to the third when they go forward to the central training worlds of the super universes. Mortals become quartan or graduate spirits after reaching the 6th circle of Havona, and become spirits of the 5th order when they find the universal Father. They subsequently attain the 6th stage of spirit existence upon taking the oath that musters them forever into the eternal assignment of the core of mortal finality. And these are the steps I go through in the video, what actually happens when you die. Remember that video I made? And this is the steps I was talking about, from the minor to the major to Havona, to meeting the universal Father, and then eventually to the mortal core of finality. And that's what traces this down. This is where this comes from, okay, on that video, what actually happens when you die. We trace all the way down up through the Urantia levels, through the 6 spirit levels, and they talk about the conjecture on the 7. Rodney, would you take the next one? There's a 1st stage spirit in the minor sector. This is a 2nd stage spirit in the major sector. 3rd stage spirit on the capital U Versa. A 4th stage spirit, a 5th stage spirit, and this, eventually into the core of finality. Okay? Rodney, would you take the next one?
We observe, is that it?
Yes, that's it.
How about it? I found it. We observe that spirit classification or designation has been determined by actual advancement from one realm of universe service to another realm of universe service, or from one universe to another universe. And we surmise that the bestowal of 7th spirit classification upon the mortal core of the finality will be simultaneous with their advancement to eternal assignment for service on hitherto unrecorded and unrevealed spheres, and concomitant with their attainment of God the Supreme. But aside from these bold conjectures, we really know more about all this than you do. Our knowledge of mortal career does not go beyond present paradise destiny.
Okay, so it's
When he said we don't know any more than you do is from the information they've given us.
That's right, from the information that's given us. That's right, because we don't know
Assuming that we
anything.
know it.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Millie, would you take the next one?
2. The mortal finaliters. We have fully complied with the injunction of the ages, be you perfect. The mortal finaliters have fully complied with the injunction of the ages, be you perfect. They have ascended to the universal path of mortal attainment. They have found God, and they have been duly inducted into the core of finality. Such beings have attained the present limit of spirit progression, but not finality of ultimate spirit status. They have achieved the present limit of creature perfection, but not finality of creature service. They have experienced the fullness of deity worship, but not finality of experiential deity attainment.
And when will that happen? That will happen when you reach the 7th stage spirit, right? So
That's what they say.
that's what they're telling us. That's right. Okay.
3. The glorified mortals of the paradise core of finality are ascendant beings in possession of experiential knowledge of every step of the actuality and philosophy of the fullest possible life of intelligent existence. While during the ages of this ascent from the lowest material worlds to the spiritual heights of paradise, these surviving creatures have been trained to the limits of their capacity, respecting every detail of every divine principle of the just and efficient, as well as merciful and patient administration of all the universal creation of time and space.
So that we'll be fully experienced in everything, right? We deem that human beings are entitled to share our opinions, and that you are free to conjecture with us respecting the mystery of the ultimate destiny of the Paradise Core finality. It seems evident to us that the present assignments of the perfected evolutionary creatures partake of the nature of postgraduate courses in universe and understanding and universe administration. Administration, and we all ask, why should the gods be so concerned in so thoroughly training surviving mortals in the technique of universe management? That was the problem Lucifer had, remember?
Mm.
Okay. Rodney, would you take the next one? Adopted
Okay,
Seraphim?
number 4, adopted seraphim. Many of the faithful seraphic guardians of mortals are permitted to go through the ascendant career with their human lords, and many of these guardian angels, after becoming father fused, join their subjects and taken the finaliter oath of eternity and forever accept the destiny of their mortal associates. Angels who pass through the ascending experience of mortal beings may share the destiny of human nature. They may equally and eternally be mustered into this core of finality. Large numbers of the adopted and glorified seraphim are attached to the various non-mortal finaliter core.
Now notice here that even the guardian angels, they're the creation of what? The local universe mother spirit, right? Directly from the infinite spirit. So even the guardian angels require a father fragment before they can join the core of finality. You see that? All beings must have that fragment of the father. I wanted to bring that out. Glorified material sons. Millie, would you take that one?
Yes. There is provision in the universes of time and space whereby the Adamic citizens of local systems, when long delayed in receiving planetary assignment, may initiate a petition for release from permanent citizenship status. And if granted, they join the ascending pilgrims on the universe's capitals and thence, that's difficult, thence proceed onward to paradise and the core of finality.
Okay, so what are they talking about release here from permanent citizens? The Adamic sons, the Adams and Eves, while they're on the capital, right, are considered permanent citizens. And they stay permanent citizens until they go out and do their duty, as Adam and Eve's. And as long as they do their duty properly, they're still considered permanent citizens. But when they default or when they get done, they can petition for a thought adjuster. Now, Adam and Eve, since they defaulted on our planet, they received one immediately. Remember that? Do you remember that from the story of Adam and Eve? They actually got adjusters while they were still on this planet. So when they died, they went on to the mansion worlds just like we do, and they eventually fused with their adjusters just like we do, right? So even the material sons of God, even though they're created by Jesus and the creative mother spirit, they too have to receive a adjuster to become part of the mortal core of finality, right? Or the part of the core of finality. All right.
When an advanced evolutionary world attains the latter eras of the age of light and life, the material sons, the planetary Adam and Eve, may elect to humanize, receive adjusters, and embark upon the evolutionary course of universe ascent, leading to the core of mortal finaliters. Certain of these material sons have partially failed or technically defaulted in their mission as biologic accelerators, as Adam did on Urantia, and then are they compelled to take the natural course of the peoples of the realm, receive adjusters, pass through death, and progress by faith through the ascendant regime, subsequently attaining paradise and the core of the finality.
Now notice here they have to experience death just like we do. Okay? So that's what that gives them experience as mortals, right?
They talk about the planetary Adam and Eve, but when they talk about who defaulted on Urantia, they just say Adam.
Yeah.
They didn't say as Adam and Eve did, they said as Adam did.
Yeah, well they meant both of them though, really. Because
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, they both defaulted and they both received adjusters. Now, a point needs to be made here though, Millie, that even those that do not default, okay, on their job, they may stay with the planet 300, 400,000 years, even longer, right? But before they leave the planet, they can choose to receive an adjuster and experience death just like humans, even if they do not default. That's the point here, okay? So by doing this, it makes them available to what? Go through the mansion world experience, go through the Urantia experience, and start as first stage spirits just like we do. So they go through the same course as we do as ascending mortals. Okay?
It must be desirable.
That's right, it is desirable because they have to eventually receive that adjuster, but by doing it while they're still on the planet of assignment, they experience death just like any other human. Okay, rather than being translated back to the capital. Okay, so that's why they choose to have adjusters so that they can experience death. They cannot go through the death experience without an adjuster. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Now I've lost track. My turn. These material sons are not to be found in many finality companies. Their present lends great potential to the possibilities of high service for such a group, and they are invariably chosen as its leaders. If both of the Adenic pair are attached to the same group, they are usually permitted to function jointly as one personality. Such ascendant pairs are far more successful in the adventure of trinitizing than any of the ascendant mortals. Now why would that be? Because they have experience coming from the capital down to being a mortal and then going back up. So they are descending sons of God to start out with. And then after they become mortal and get adjusters, they become what? Ascending sons of God. So they've gone both pathways, descending and ascending, right?
Hmm.
Right. Glorified midway creatures. Rodney, would you take this one?
Yeah. Number 6, glorified midway creatures. On many planets, the midway creatures are produced in large numbers, but they seldom tarry in their native world subsequent to its being settled in light and life. Then, or soon thereafter, they are released from permanent citizenship status and start on the ascension to paradise, passing through the Urantia worlds, the super universe, and Havana in company with the mortals of time and space.
So even though they've been on this planet all this time, they still have to go through the same experience, right? All right. Even though they're much more intelligent.
Well, but they have thought adjusters already.
Yeah, they have thought adjusters when they leave. Yes, as soon as they leave this planet, they have thought adjusters, and they have to fuse just like we do, right?
Right.
On the mansion worlds. Okay.
It wouldn't seem to me that their thought adjusters would have much to do.
Well, that's not necessarily true, Millie. Remember how many of them rebelled on this planet during the Calligastabus betrayal and the Lucifer rebellion. 40,000 out of 50,000 of them defaulted. So having an adjuster is important in maintaining that connection with that which is right. See, those beings.
Those that defaulted didn't have the adjusters.
That's right. They didn't have adjusters. That's right, and that's an important point. There's no father fragment there to keep them on the right course. Right. All right.
You mean midway creatures? Or?
Midway creatures. That's right.
Some of them do not have thought adjuster?
All of them do not start out with thought adjusters.
No. But they receive them before.
They receive them before they start the ascension plan. Yes.
Okay, but they are free will creatures.
They are free will creatures,
and they sin probably as much as a human.
That's right. They do. To start out with. Yeah, especially. But as they grow more wise and older, see, Rodney, they gain experience, and with that wisdom, they become more and more perfected, just like any type of being, right?
Well, after a few thousand years, you'd think they'd get it right.
Yeah, you'd be pretty wise after a few thousand years and see how sin and rebellion affected this planet in itself, you know? I mean, it'd be pretty obvious. You'd learn your lessons pretty well. Think of yourself how I don't know about y'all, but the older I get, the less anything sinful has any allure to me whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not even an allure.
It's not even, it's not even something to consider, because as you get wiser, you realize this is not the way, and you realize that the results of acting certain ways and doing things against people in certain ways are devastating. Really, that's why they say the wages of sin is death, is because you go down this road that's just horrible, So, anyway, let's keep going. Millie, I think you're next.
The midway creatures from various universes differ greatly in origin and nature, but they are all destined to one or another of the Paradise Finality Core. The secondary midwayers are all eventually adjuster fused and are mustered into the mortal core. Many finaliter companies have one of these glorified beings in their group.
And these would be of great benefit because of their experience, right? All right.
So this is one of the 10 that are missing.
This is
if we're
one of the
990.
10. That's right. That's right. What are the other 10 that could possibly be? They could be seraphim. They could be material sons and daughters, right? They could be midway creatures, both primary and secondary midway creatures, right? And,
Yes.
And also, we're going to get to one more here. It's called the Evangels of Light, right?
7. The Evangels of Light. At the present time, every finaliter company numbers 999 personalities of oath status permanent members. The vacant place is occupied by the chief of attached evangels of light assigned on any single mission, but these beings are only transient members of the core.
Any celestial personality assigned to the service of any finaliter core is denominated an Evangel of Light. Y'all catch that?
Any celestial personality.
Any celestial personality assigned to the service of the finaliter core is denominated an Evangel of Light. So it can come from any group, right? All right. These beings do not take the finaliter oath, and though subject to the core organization, they are not a permanent attachment. So they're not permanently attached to the core, right? So you have 999 permanent attached beings and one which is not. You got that? Okay. This group may embrace solitary messengers, supernaphim, sakanaphim, paradise citizens, or their trinitized offspring, any being required in the prosecution of a transient finaliter assignment. Okay? Whether or not the core is to have these beings attached to the eternal mission, we do not know. At the conclusion of attachment, these Evangels of Light resume their formal status. So former status, what did I say? Former status. In other words, they go back to work doing what they were before. That'd be a big letdown, wouldn't it? All right. Rodney, would you take the next one?
It makes you wonder why they're there.
Does. Well, they're on advisory,
To contribute objectivity.
probably. Yeah, someone outside the core, right?
Okay.
All right.
And
As,
for their experience too.
For their experience also, that's right.
as the mortal cores of the finality is at present constituted, there are just 6 classes of permanent members. The finalitors, as might be expected, engage in much speculation as to the identity of their future comrades, but there is little agreement among them.
So they know there's going to be another group of beings assigned to them, but they do not know whom. Right? Okay.
We of Uversa often conjecture respecting the identity of the 7th group of finalitors. We entertain many ideas embracing possible assignment of some of the accumulating core of the numerous trinitized groups on Paradise, Vicegerrington, and the Inner Havona Circuit. It is even conjectured that the core of the finality may be permitted to trinitize many of their assistants in the work of the universe administration in the event they are destined to the service of universes now in the making.
Because they all have the possibility of trinitizing anytime they want to, don't they? Once you become a finaliter, right? So it's kind of interesting, at least once.
One of us holds the opinion that this vacant place in the core will be filled by some type of being of origin in the new universe of their future service. The other inclines to the belief that this place will be occupied by some type of paradise personality not yet created, eventuated, or trinitized. But we will most likely await the entrance of the finaliters upon their 7th stage of spirit attainment before we really know.
So they're just guessing just like we do, right? All right. 8. The Transcendentalers. Part of the perfected mortal's experience on Paradise as a finaliter consists in the effort to achieve comprehension of the nature and function of more than 1,000 groups of the transcendental super citizens of Paradise, eventuated beings of absentite attributes. In their association with these super personalities, the ascendant finaliters receive great assistance from the helpful guidance of numerous orders of transcendental ministers, who are assigned to the task of introducing the evolved finaliters to the new Paradise Brethren. The entire order of transcendentalers live in the west of Paradise in a vast area which they exclusively occupy. Interesting.
Yes.
Sounds like a story.
This is a picture of where that's located.
It's a gated community.
Yeah, gated community. All right.
That's funny.
This is about all right. Rodney, would you take the next one?
In the discussion of transcendentalers, we are restricted not only by the limitations of human comprehension, but also by the terms of the mandate governing these disclosures concerning the personalities of Paradise. These beings are in no way connected with the mortal ascent to Havana. The vast host of the Paradise Transcendentalers have nothing whatever to do with the affairs of either Havana or the 7 super universes, being concerned only with the super administration of the affairs of the master universe.
Okay, it's kind of interesting that they don't tell us a lot about these. It makes me wonder because of the imagination of the human being, and we'd start throwing around this term transcendentalers. So we'd have movies about horrors and all sorts of stuff that's totally unrelated to what a transcendentaler truly is, right? So it's almost like we're restricted because of our own stupidity, right? Or our own ignorance of things. So it's kind of interesting.
They have nothing to do with our journey.
That's right. Have nothing whatsoever to do with our journey.
So there's no need to know.
That's right. You know, it's a need to know basis, right? Okay.
Yes.
That's right. Millie, would you take the next one?
You, being a creature, can conceive of a creator, but you can hardly comprehend that there exists an enormous and diversified aggregation of intelligent beings who are neither creators nor creatures. These transcendentalers create no beings, neither were they ever created. In speaking of their origin, in order to avoid using a new term, an arbitrary and meaningless designation, we deem, yeah, we deem it best to say that transcendentalers simply eventuate. The deity absolute may well have been concerned in their origin and may be implicated in their destiny, but these unique beings are not now dominated by the deity absolute. They are subject to God the ultimate, and their present paradise sojourn is in every way Trinity supervised and directed.
Okay, so we say we know that eventuated beings just come into existence as they are needed, right? So
That's it. They could have picked any strange word.
That's right. That's right.
It's eventuated is about as strange as it gets.
That's right. You know, so they just appear, right, out of basically from the God the ultimate, and they don't really know where it comes from, why it comes there, or anything. So it's a mystery.
It makes you think that if they just appeared, they wouldn't be experienced. They would be stupid.
Well,
But,
you know,
apparently they're
think
very
of-
intelligent.
think of the bugs, Rodney. When a bug is born, it has everything it needs for survival already programmed into it, right?
Exactly.
So in essence, even though bugs are born, in a sense, their mental capacities are what? Eventuated, you know? So
That's right. So same idea.
yeah, it really is.
Strange.
I'd like to know what they look like.
You're relating these transcendentalers to bugs.
Well, that's
I know,
the only
really.
yeah, really.
There's some interesting looking bugs though.
Yeah.
Bite your tongue.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even know. Do they have a form, or are they just spirit?
We don't know. They don't tell us really. So they may
It's
not,
none of our business.
yeah, they may have something totally unrelated to a physical body that we conceive of. You know, so anyway, they just don't tell us anything. All right. You can
I'm very curious. Although all mortals who attain paradise frequently fraternize with the transcendentalers as they do with the paradise citizens, it develops that man's first serious contact with a transcendentaler occurs on that eventful occasion when, as a member of a new finality group, the mortal ascender stands in the finality receiving circle as the Trinity oath of eternity is administered by the chief of transcendentalers, the presiding head of the architects of the master universe.
Okay, so here's a new twist to the transcendentalers.
The presiding head.
The presiding head of the architects of the master universe.
So does
what-
that mean the
So that means that
architects or transcendentals?
that means the architects of the master universe are transcendentalers. They're the ones that go out into the outer space
These are
levels
unusual beings.
and make the plans for the outer space levels. So these are very unusual beings, right?
And there's lots of them doing lots of stuff.
Lots of them doing lots of stuff, and that brings us right to what? The architects of the master universe. That's right. Okay, I think I'm up. 9, the architects of the master universe. The architects of the master universe are the governing core of the paradise transcendentalers. They're the heads, right? This governing core number 28,011 personalities possessing masterminds, superb spirits, and supernal, absinites. The presiding officer of this magnificent group, the senior master architect, is the coordinating head of all paradise intelligences below the level of deity. Did y'all catch that?
Okay.
So this is the first being that is not considered deity on paradise. Okay? So this being was created to start everything, right? The master architects of the master universe. What's interesting too is this number 28,011. When they tried to eventuate the 28,012, it was impossible. Isn't that interesting?
I read that, but I didn't understand what it meant. But
Yeah.
we'll get to it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a picture of the very first eventuated architect of the master universe, right? And then there came the three Havona architects, the next level, right? And then there became the seven architects of the seven super universes, right? All right. And then came the 70 architects of the primary space level. Now, you'll notice a pattern here, won't you? Okay? We go from 3 to 70 to 70, and then eventually it gets to the fourth level, which is 28,011.
That's what, okay.
That's what the pattern is. Okay? Who's up next?
I think it's my turn.
Okay. Go, Rodney.
The 16th proscription of the mandate authorizing these narratives says, if deemed wise, the existence of the architects of the master universe and their associates may be disclosed, but their origin, nature, and destiny may not be fully revealed. We may, however, inform you that these master architects exist in 7 levels of the Absolute. These 7 groups are classified as follows.
All right.
1. The paradise level. Only the senior or first eventuated architect functions on this highest level of the Absolute. This ultimate personality, neither creature nor creator, eventuated in the dawn of eternity, and now functions on the exquisite coordinator as the exquisite coordinator of paradise and its 21 worlds of associated activities.
Okay, that was the very top one on that chart I just showed you, right? And they're going to go down through all of these. Now it's interesting that this particular one does not leave paradise. Okay, the others do. Okay, and this is the senior level, first eventuated of paradise. Okay, 2, the Havana level.
2. The Havona level. The second architect eventuation yield 3 master planners and Absolute administrators, and they have always been devoted to the coordination of the 1 billion perfect spheres of the central universe. Paradise tradition asserts that these 3 architects, with the counsel of the pre-eventuated senior architect, contributed to the planning of Havona, but we really do not know.
All right, and that's a picture of that. You know, the first one and the 3, and then they came up with the concept of the 7 rings of Havana and the billion worlds of Havana. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
right.
trying to think. When the infinite spirit came into being, paradise came into being.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe paradise came into being, but the worlds had not been weren't there yet. Had not been.
No, not exactly, Rodney, because concurrently with paradise appearing, Havona almost, they talk about it like happened immediately too, at the same time. Havona, shortly
But
after
they're
that.
talking here that
You're talking milliseconds probably, so.
they planned.
Apparently the master architect planned paradise, and at the same time the 3 eventuated architects planned Havona because it was the next thing in existence,
Of course,
right?
the planets could have.
Because paradise
the
appeared.
flash of an eye.
Well, paradise appeared at the same time as the infinite spirit, right? And it's interesting because paradise is paradise and Havona both. Paradise appeared as a physical entity, right? A perfect physical entity. And to manage that perfect physical entity, entity, what happens? God the Father and God the Son creates the perfect deity to manage that physical entity. And that was the infinite spirit, right? So it's kind of interesting. Let's go on. The super universe level. The third Absonite level embraces the 7 master architects of the 7 super universes, who now as a group spend about equal time in the company of the 7 master spirits on paradise and with the 7 supreme executives on the 7 special worlds of the infinite spirit. They are the super coordinators of the grand universe, because it's their plan, right? All right. And this is a picture of them, the 7 architects of the super universes. Okay. All right, Rodney, would you take the next one?
Excuse me. Number 4, the primary space level. This group numbers 70 architects. I didn't skip one, did I?
No.
Okay, 70 architects. And we conjecture that they are concerned with the ultimate plans for the first universe of outer space, now mobilizing beyond the borders of the present 7 super universes.
Okay, so think about this. We have 70 architects. So logic would follow that there are 70 super universes in the first outer space levels.
Yeah, I would think that, yes.
Yeah, right?
So the
And
first universe is coming into being.
Yes, and it would follow if there's a billion worlds on each of the 7 super universes, then there would be 70 billion worlds on the first outer space level, right? This is populatable worlds, not
Mhm.
including the other planets that won't hold life, right? So can you imagine the trillions of worlds in the very first outer space level? We're not talking about the third, fourth. We're talking about the first, right? All right.
Mhm.
And this is the 70 architects of the first outer space level. It just
Man, that
blows
thing goes on forever.
It goes on forever. Okay. Now we're going to really blow your mind. Okay. Who's up next? Millie? Millie, would you read number 5?
Number 5, the secondary space level. This 5th corps of architects numbers 490, and again we conjecture that they must be concerned with the second universe of outer space. Where already our physicists have detected definite energy mobilization.
So if there's
They're concerned with the second universe. You mentioned before.
second space level, right?
Yeah, the second.
Second space level.
Secondary space level.
So that means if there's an architect for each super universe, that there's probably 490 super universes, just like our local super universe, out in the secondary outer space levels.
Holy mackerel.
Okay?
They're not talking about super universe. They're talking about universe.
We're
Concerned
talking,
with the second universe of outer
otherwise it would be the
space.
8th, and,
Yeah.
and they're not breaking their...
yeah, it's the second universe of outer space, Billy, but these are super universes out in that second level. So there would be 490 super universes, just like Irvanton, out in that outer space level. So that
Well,
means,
in number 4, the primary space level, ultimate plans for the first universe of outer space.
right, yeah, but
And
it's
now, in this one, the second universe of outer space.
that's right. What we're talking about, they're talking about like a master universe. These are super universes, which there's in our current master universe. There's 7 super universes, right? When we go out to the first outer space level, there's 70 super universes. When we go,
So really what it's saying here is the first universe within one of the super universes.
that's right. The super
Yeah.
universes are
the
within
very-
the second outer space level or universe, right? The second universe. The point I want to make is there's 490 super universes out in that the second ring that surrounds it. And if you
I
multiply that,
don't read that.
well, if you multiply that out, that means that's 490 billion worlds. Okay?
Mhm.
Populable.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
It just
because
keeps
the first-
multiplying. Gets larger and larger and larger. Because the first one is 7 super universes, the second one is 70 super universes, the third one is 490 super universes. Okay, in these rings, right? Okay, let's go one more here. And there's the architects for that. All right, this is the third outer space level, the tertiary, right?
Mm.
Okay, you want to take that one?
6, the tertiary space level. The sixth group of master architects numbers 3,430, and we likewise infer that they may be occupied with the gigantic plans for the third universe of outer space.
So there's 3,430 architects out there. And if there's one for every super universe, that means it follows logically that there would be 3,430 super universes in the third outer space level.
Is this all going to happen simultaneously, or is it an evolutionary?
It's a progressive
It's a
evolutionary
progression.
thing. Okay, now we still have, and there's a picture of that, one more, the Quartan space level. All right, this is the final and largest core consisting of 24,010 master architects. And if our former conjectures are valid, it must be related that the fourth and last, the ever-increasing size universe of outer space. All right, now think about this. If there's one architect for every super universe, that means there's 24,010 super universes in the fourth outer space level.
Exactly.
So that is 24,010 billion more worlds,
Mm.
right? If we go on the current scale. All right, and there's the 24th of them. All right,
Mm.
let's go from here. Rodney, would you take this one?
These 7 groups of master architects total 28,011 universe planners. On Paradise, there is a tradition that far back in eternity, there was attempted the eventuation of the 28,012th master architect, but that this being failed to absentize, experiencing personality seizure by the universal absolute. It is possible that the ascending series of the master architects attained the limit of absonity in the 28,011th architect, and that the 28,012th attempt encountered the mathematical level of the presence of the absolute. In other words, at the 28,012th eventuation level, the quality of obscenity equivalated to the level of the universal and attained the value of the absolute.
So, what does this tell us? That means that on the fourth ring, it reached its maximum level for the current universal absolute. Now,
So, you know what? It also tells me that pretty much everything is based off of numbers.
yeah, everything is. It is. But the interesting part is this. Is there another deity out there formulating in the mind of God to go out 3 more levels? But you notice how everything's in 7s, and we only have 4 outer space levels?
Yeah, it must be. I mean,
You know, is there another deity of some type, like the universal,
Absalom.
Absonite absolute is yet to be developed and we don't know about it? Who knows?
Wait,
Because it's a never-ending thing. It just keeps growing and growing.
well, we got the God the Supreme on the 7 super universe, and the 4 outer space levels are God the ultimate,
God
right?
the ultimate, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on. So it's interesting projection. It really is. But this is interesting that they got to the 28,011th and they could not go past that. Because that's the mathematical formula of multiplying the super universes out. So it's just it's fascinating. It really is. Yeah.
Imagine a personality seizure.
Yeah, I had
Oh.
no idea what that could be. Just could not create anymore. Who's up next? I have lost.
I just read. I think Millie's turn.
Millie,
I
would you
read
take the next one?
tertiary. I read tertiary. so
Yes.
your turn.
In the functional organization, the 3 supervising architects of Havona act as associate assistants to the solitary paradise architect. The 7 architects of the super universes act as coordinators of the 3 supervisors of Havona. The 70 planners of the universes of the primary outer space level are at present serving as associate assistants to the 7 architects of the 7 super universes.
See the pattern here? Each one functions as the helper of the next one, right? All right. Yeah.
The architects of the master universe have at their disposal numerous groups of assistants and helpers, including 2 vast orders of force organizers, the primary eventuated and the associate transcendental. These master force organizers are not to be confused with the power directors, who are germane to the grand universe.
Okay, so the master force organizers are the ones that step in after the architects to manipulate this cosmic matter, right, into working material for the creator sons and daughters, the creator sons and the local universe mother spirits to come in and create from, right? All right. All beings produced by the union of the children of time and eternity, such as the trinitide offspring of the Finaliters and the paradise citizens, become wards of the master architects. So we become wards of these architects, okay? But of all other creatures or entities revealed as functioning in the present organized universes, only solitary messengers and inspired Trinity spirits maintain an organic association with the transcendentalers and the architects of the master universe. Now think about this. These 2 beings, the solitary messengers and the inspired Trinity spirits, are the only 2 beings that can go out and take the force of the outer space levels to be able to function out in the outer space levels. Only those 2 orders of beings, solitary messengers and inspired Trinity spirits. All other beings cannot stand, I think they said, the pressure and the temperatures associated with being in the outer space levels. Only those 2 groups of beings. Okay? The master architects contribute technical approval of the assignment of the creator sons to their space sites for the organization of the local universes. There is a very close association between the master architects and the paradise creator sons, and while this relationship is unrevealed, you have been informed of the association of the architects and the grand universe creators.
Supreme.
Get down. I'm
Susie.
sorry. Get down. Yeah, she's gonna get electrocuted back there. Get down, Susie. Go on.
Come on.
Come on. Sorry, y'all. I got a cat that's getting behind the computer. Get in.
That's a
Good girl. This very close association between, I'm sorry. Let me start there. There's this very close association between the master architects and the paradise creator sons, and while this relationship is unrevealed, you have been informed of the association of the architects and the grand universe supreme creators in the relationship of the first experiential trinity. These 2 groups, together with the evolving and experiential supreme being, constitute the trinity ultimate of transcendental values and the master universe meetings. Couple things here. first, the architects have a close relationship with the local universe creator sons and what? The creative mother spirits. Because they go in and create the universes from the plans of the master architects, right? Okay, and that's all I'm going to say about this, because the rest of it's too confusing to get into, really.
I got a comment though.
Go right ahead, Rodney.
I think that Millie's could be right. I think she's valid on her argument about this. I'm thinking that the first level is not divided up into super universes. I think it might be just a bunch of universes with no super universe, because
Well,
it really doesn't say super universe, it just says universe.
no, it doesn't say that, Rodney, but it would make sense that
Yeah, it does make sense.
it
However,
follows that is if there's an architect for each super universe, that there would be an architect for each super universe out there too. You follow
yeah,
me?
but it almost sounds like the universes out there are going to be so very big that maybe there's one of these architects per universe because they're so vast.
Well, you think about it, there's still questions as to really how big our own super universe is. Some people believe it's the size of the Milky Way, okay? Other people believe it encompasses an area much larger than just the Milky Way. But they do say in the book, if we look straight through the center of the Milky Way, then we would be looking towards Uversa, right?
Right.
So it would follow that probably that is more than likely looking at a super universe. And think of all, see, we have an advantage because we're out at the edge of the universe. So we can see out to the outer space, the first outer space level. And we see all these millions and millions and millions of developing universes. So whether they're universes or super universes, who's to say for sure? There's really no, you could argue that point forever. You could call them,
since we're just number 600 and something in our super universe, I have to think that the universes are created one at a time.
yeah,
And
but
eventually, when you have 1,000 of them, then you have a super universe.
well, Millie, but what you're talking about is a local universe, which is small compared to a super universe. So there's 100 local universes in each of the super universes, or 1,000. Now I'm getting confused. I'm talking about it so much.
It's 1,000.
It's 1,000, I believe. Yeah, there's 1,000 local universes.
We're number 600 and something, and we're not to the end yet, so it's going to be 1,000.
Yeah.
But the universes are created one at a time.
Right, they are. And they have to be assigned to the creator sons and daughters. They have to choose their space area. So it's a slow evolutionary process any way you look at it. So it's almost hard for the human mind to even wrap your brain around if you really think about it. I've been studying this for 40 years, and it still confuses me even after 40 years when you start to try to break it down and compartmentalize it. It's just overwhelming. It really is. That's why we have all these charts and everything. It just makes it interesting. Let's go on and get number 10 done here. Okay.
Okay, number 10, the ultimate adventure. The senior master architect has the oversight of the 7 cores of the finality, and they are: number 1, the core of the mortal finalators; number 2, the core of the paradise finalators; 3, the core of the trinitized finalators; 4, the core of the conjoint trinitized finalators; 5, the core of the Ravona finalators; 6, the core of the transcendental finalators; and 7, the core of the unrevealed sons of destiny.
Okay, now think about this. The
So
senior...
transcendentalers can become finalators.
Pardon me?
Transcendentalers can become
Can
finalators.
become a group of finalators. That's right, they can. But follow my logic here for just 1 minute. The senior master architect has oversight of the 7 cores of finality. Think about this. What does the master architects do? They create super universes, right?
Right.
Or universes, whichever one you want to say. It makes perfect sense that these cores of finalities will go where? Out into the outer space level, because that's where the master architects are currently functioning most.
That's
right?
what they do. So
That's what they do. So it makes perfect sense. That's why they project that the core of finality, all of these cores of finality, will eventually end up in the outer space levels. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. Perfect sense.
Okay. I just wanted to bring that up. Millie, would you take the next one?
Each of these destiny cores has a presiding head, and the 7 constitute the Supreme Council of Destiny on Paradise. And during the present universe age, Granfonda is the chief of this supreme body of universe assignment for the children of ultimate destiny.
And who was Granfonda? He was the very first mortal to go into the core of finality, right? So he's the presiding head, all right? And these are the Supreme Council of Destiny, right? So what's to come, all right?
The gathering together of these 7 finaliter cores signifies reality, mobilization of potentials, personalities, minds, spirits, absinites, and experiential actualities that probably transcend even the future master universe functions of the Supreme Being. These 7 finaliter cores probably signify the present activity of the ultimate Trinity, engaged in mustering the forces of the finite and the abstinite in preparation for inconceivable developments in the universes of outer space. Nothing like this mobilization has taken place since the mere times of eternity, when the Paradise Trinity similarly mobilized the then existing personalities of Paradise and Havona and commissioned them as administrators and rulers of the projected 7 super universes of time and space. The 7 finaliter core represent the divinity response of the grand universe to the future needs of the undeveloped potentials in the outer universes of future eternal activity.
So this is all the concepts of all types of beings moving out into the outer space levels. Do you see that?
And you know, I find it interesting they made a ascending mortal the chief.
That's right. It made an ascending mortal the chief. That's the experiential part, right? That's part of the supreme acting through a being, right?
Okay.
Okay. We venture the forecast of future and greater outer universes of inhabited worlds, new spheres peopled with new orders of existing, exquisite and unique beings, a material universe sublime in its ultimacy, a vast creation lacking in only one important detail, the presence of actual finite experience in the universe life of ascendant existence. Such a universe will come into being under a tremendous experiential handicap, the deprivation of participation in the evolution of the Almighty Supreme. These outer universes will all enjoy the matchless ministry and supernal control, over control of the Supreme Being, the experiential part, right? But the very fact of this active presence precludes their participation in the actualization of the Supreme Deity.
So these outer space universes are not going to participate in anything whatsoever to do with evolution or experience. They're going to experience something else.
They're going to experience something totally new. That's right.
Because it says here,
because the Supreme will already be in full fruition, right? The experiential part of
exactly.
God.
They're going to be lacking in only one important detail: the presence of actual finite experience.
That's right. So maybe that's why we're being prepared to go out there, because we have what? Finite experience, right? All right.
So these beings may be eventuated, or
they may be. They may be transcendentals. They may be eventuated. They may be absentite. We're not sure.
Wow.
You know. Rodney, would you take the next one?
During the present universe age, the evolving personalities of the grand universe suffer many difficulties due to the incomplete actualization of the sovereignty of God the Supreme. But we are all sharing the unique experience of His evolution. We evolve in Him, and He evolves in us. Sometime in the eternal future, the evolution of the Supreme Deity will become a completed fact of universe history, and the opportunity to participate in this wonderful experience will have passed from the stage of cosmic action. Wow, imagine that.
Well,
When everything has been experienced.
and everything has been experienced, and we're taking part in all of this, right?
Hmm.
All right. Millie, would you take the next one?
My brain isn't big enough to comprehend
Really?
this.
But
But those of us who have acquired this unique experience during the youth of the universe will treasure it throughout all future eternity. And many of us speculate that it may be the mission of this gradually accumulating reserves of the ascendant and perfected mortals of the course of finality, in association with other 6 similarly recruiting cores, to administer these outer universes in an effort to compensate their experiential deficiencies in not having participated in the time-space evolution of the Supreme Being.
so these 7 cores that we talked about at the beginning of this, right, are the cores that's going to go out until these outer space level, and that's where they will have the experiential part come from, because the Supreme Being has already come into existence, right? And what will happen in the outer space levels? The development of the ultimate Supreme, right? That's what they're talking about. Just like the Supreme gained experience in the 7 super universe, the ultimate Supreme will gain experience through these 7 cores and all the beings coming up through the outer space levels. And eventually the ultimate Supreme will come into full fruition just exactly like the Supreme.
And then after that, the Almighty Supreme comes
Then
into
the Almighty
evolution.
Supreme. That's right. It may be the other way around, but that's okay. All right.
So in these new universes and planets in the outer spaces, they're not going to come up out of the slime and walk on all fours and stand up and then learn to talk, and they're not going to evolve.
We don't know, Millie, because they may not be mortal beings. They may be absentite and transcendental beings rather than mortals. We just don't know. And on the other hand, they may. You can speculate all you want, and they may be a lower level than mortals even, instead of a higher level. We're just not sure. No one is really sure. That's what's exciting about the development of the outer space levels, is it's a total mystery as to what will come in those space levels.
I hope it's not lower.
Well, maybe even as we see in our families today, my siblings and I were much more advanced than my mom and dad, and my children are much more advanced than their mom and dad. And perhaps this is what happens with the planets. The people are more advanced as they come into existence.
Let's hope so, Melly.
That's a pattern.
We hope
that's the right
we
pattern.
hope that's the way. That's why they think that it's probably an absentite type of being. Excuse me. Sorry. I got a kitty that's just bound to get up into my wiring tonight. Okay, let's keep going.
But those of us who have acquired this unique experience during the
next
youth
one.
of...
Next one. That's the one we
Next one.
Yes.
Okay, then it must be Diane's turn.
It is.
Oh, okay.
These deficiencies are inevitable on all levels of universe existence. During the present universe age, we of the higher levels of spiritual existences now come down to administer the evolutionary universes and minister to the ascending mortals, thus endeavoring to atone for their deficiencies in the realities of the higher spiritual experience. Okay.
So maybe that's exactly what we will be doing. We will be atoning for the deficiencies of those beings created out in the outer space levels, right? That's all. But though we really know nothing about the plans of the architects of the master universe, respecting these outer creations, nevertheless, of three things we are certain. Rodney, would you take the three things?
The three things?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here trying to imagine a universe without a Walmart or a McDonald's. Okay, number one, there actually is a vast and new system of universes gradually organizing into domains of outer space. New orders of physical creations, enormous and gigantic circles of swarming universes upon universes, far out beyond the present bounds of the peopled and organized creations, are actually visible through your telescope. At present, these outer creations are wholly physical. They are apparently uninhabited and seem to be devoid of creature administration. And number two, for ages upon ages, there continues to be unexplained and wholly mysterious paradise mobilization of the perfected and ascendant beings of time and space in association with the 6 other finality cores. Number three, that concomitantly with these transactions, the supreme person of deity is powerizing as the almighty sovereign of the super creations.
So we see all this activity going on, the organization of the universes, the mobilization of beings coming up, preparing themselves, and the powerizing of the Almighty as the sovereign of the super creation. So all these things are happening at the same time. So it's all appears to be moving towards this great thing that's going to happen in the outer space levels. Right?
I have a comment
Yeah.
here. Again, being this book, back when it was, before it was printed, when was it printed? 1932?
It was actually printed in 1954 or 55.
Or 55, but
Yeah, but it was revealed started in 1934 and went through 1935.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
now they're talking about telescopes back then.
right.
They're talking about the Hubble's telescope.
Well, actually, it was around 1935 that the original telescope was created that could see these outer space levels. I think it was in 1934, actually, and that's there's speculation because of that creation of that telescope is why they decided to go ahead and reveal this book to us, which is kind of
Well, I
interesting.
can understand that.
Yeah, because it was about 1934 or 1935 one.
But now the Hubble sees much more.
Yeah. Well, the original Hubble, I think, was actually in 1934. The Hubble we have now is the generations of the Hubble that keeps developing. You know, so which is kind of interesting. You know. All right. Millie, would you take the next one, please?
As we view this triune development embracing creatures, universes, and deity, can we be criticized for anticipating that something new and unrevealed is approaching culmination in the master universe? Is it not natural that we should associate this age-long mobilization and organization of physical universes on such a hitherto unknown scale and the personality emergence of the Supreme Being with this stupendous scheme of upstepping the mortals of time to divine perfection, and with their subsequent mobilization on paradise in the core of the finality, a designation and destiny enshrouded in the universe mystery? It is increasingly the belief of all universal that the assembling core of the Finality are destined to some future service in the universes of the outer space, where we already are able to identify the clustering of at least 70,000 aggregations of matter, each of which is greater than any one of the present superuniverses.
There it is. Greater than any one of the 70 of the 7 super universes. So these new super universes out in the outer space levels are actually much larger than even our super universe.
They're going to be stupendous universes.
They'll be stupendous universes. Maybe they'll be calling them ultimate super universes or aggregate. Who knows? Super universes. You know, but
Super duper universes.
super universes. That's right.
Maybe they'll have a contest and let us decide.
Maybe so. You gonna take the next one, dear? I got 2 here. Oh no, this is the last slide.
Evolutionary mortals are born on the planets of space, pass through the Urantia worlds, ascend the spirit universes, traverse the Havonospheres, find God, attain paradise, and are mustered into the primary core of the Finality, therein to await the next assignment of universe service. There are 6 other assembling Finality core, but Grandfonda, the first mortal ascender, presides as Paradise Chief of all orders of Finaliters. And as we view this sublime spectacle, we all exclaim, what a glorious destiny for the animal origin children of time, the material sons of space. Jointly sponsored by a divine counselor and one without name and number, authorized so to function by the Ancient of Days on Uversa.
Now remember, this revelation came from the Ancients of Days on Uversa, right? It was approved by them, and all this is explained from Uversa. Not Paradise, but from Uversa, our super universe. And this is to inform us of where we are in the universe, right? So we just finished the first section, and that is what?
The central and super
The
universes.
central and super universes. So our next step will be what? The
Our
local.
own universe.
That's our own, the local universe, right?
Yay!
And that's what we're going to go into in January,
Yay.
right? We'll be
Yay.
starting the local universe, and we'll move through that, and then we'll concentrate on what? The history of Urantia, the history of the planet.
All this is going to
itself.
get simpler than this, what we just
It's
did.
going to
That's
get
right.
simpler and simpler. This is the most difficult sections.
These are all
And flutter.
Yeah, yeah. So now you know the story, and now you see the excitement of the beings on Uversa, of the plan that we get to become finaliters, and we have such an exciting future ahead of us, right? Why would you want to
I'm
commit?
excited to get through tomorrow, and you're talking about billions of years from now.
Yeah, but knowing that this is our future, why would you want to cut yourself short and kill yourself? You wouldn't, would you?
Not unless you were totally
No.
exhausted.
Not unless you're just insane. I mean, that's crazy. We have a future ahead of us that is so glorious and so wonderful. They can't even explain it to us. It's so wonderful, you know. So anyway, I thank God I'm able to experience this in this life myself.
Well, he thanks that he's able to experience it through you.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's say a little prayer, and this will be our ending prayer until January, and then we'll start meeting on Sunday and Wednesday again. So I think I'll pray, close us out. All right. Father, thank you for this wonderful experience getting through the first part of the book. We thank you for all this knowledge we've gained, and we pray that we absorb some of it, that we might share it with others. We pray that you'll open our hearts and minds to sharing not only this knowledge we have about the book, but our love and caring for each other and the mercy that you've shown us in this life. We thank you for such an exciting future, and we thank you for such a blessing to know about this through this wonderful revelation. Please watch over all of our friends and families over the holidays coming up here, and until we start meeting again. Please watch over our group, that they have a wonderful time and keep growing. We thank you, and we love you, and we give you the praise in your Son, Michael, Jesus of Nazareth.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us. Please come see us again, and God bless you.